Good afternoon and welcome to the Savannah Resources PLC investor presentation. Throughout this recorded presentation, investors will be in listen-only mode. Questions are encouraged and can be submitted at any time via the Q&A tab situated on the right-hand corner of your screen. Simply type in your questions and press send. The company may not be in a position to answer every question it receives during the meeting itself. However, the company can review all questions submitted today and publish responses where it's appropriate to do so. Before we begin, I'd like to submit the following poll, and I'd now like to hand you over to Emmanuel Perencha, CEO. Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you, Lily, and thanks everyone who's joining us. For many of you, it will be a sequence of some of the other meetings that we're doing in this same format every 4 months. For a few of you, it will be the first time. In the first slides, we will recap a bit of our story and of what we're doing for your benefits. Let me also tell you that today we have the benefit of having Rick Anton together with us. Rick is the chairman of SAVANNAH Resources and a good support in his first months that we have him on board. So over the presentation, I will also pass it on to Rick so that he can also share a bit more of his background and of how he sees this project. So looking forward to what I hope is an interesting session for all of those who are following us. I will skip the disclaimers that you already know, so I will not spend a lot of time here, but I will go into how we have closed this year, both in terms of register and share performance. We as a company have continued to grow our share of Portuguese representatives in the register. We are now at around 20% of the company in Portuguese hands. This is coming from 0.5 or less than 0.5% of the company in Portuguese hands only in the summer of 23. So it is a very interesting progress and a very good endorsement of not only the quality of the project, but also the way the project is starting to be seen by most in Portugal. So it's something that we welcome and that we're happy with. You know that SAVANNAH's main purpose now is to focus on developing the Barroso lithium project in northern Portugal. This is Europe's largest spodumene lithium deposit, and so potential cornerstone element for the battery value chain in Europe. It is also a very good project from many global standards. It is not by far not the best lithium project that is operating right now, but it clearly is one of the very good ones, and it could be operating at current price levels, and we will delve a bit into that specifically. The other thing that is interesting and important to say is that we have finished 24 with share price rising more than 100%. This was a significant recovery from where we were, but it still is just part of the recovery. So significant upsides remains, and we will talk a bit about that also, which is, I would say, quite interesting for our shareholders. The last point to refer in these slides to say that we are well funded today, so we can go through all the steps that we are required to deliver over this year comfortably, and we can progress at a very good speed so as to deliver this project and start operating it in 27 as soon as possible. Recalling you of what the project is about. So the concession area, you see it in both pictures in red in this slide. What you see to the left is the total footprint of the project over the 17 years that it is meant to exist for in this first phase. So not all of these will be operating at the same time. So at start, we will only be operating in the area that you see it on the left picture, the area that you see in green, that's the plants, some of the support infrastructure that you see to the right of it, and in the pit that you see in gray below the plant, that's the Pinheiro pit. That's the start of our project, together with the road that you see to the right, the North Access Road, which is an 11-kilometer road until the regional road that connects directly to the highway. So that's where we're gonna be working in the first years. Over the project, we will be working on everything else that you see in the picture, and as we go, when we will be working in NOAA and Reservatório. To the left, we will already have backfilled Pinheiro and reforested Pinheiro, and we will be in the process of backfilling and reforesting the other pits that you see to the north. We will talk also a few more seconds about what we have as additional potential, but to the right you see that we continue to have a 28 million ton resource classified under the JORC code, which is already a very sizable and interesting resource at a good grades of lithium. We had referred in the past this additional exploration target of 11 to 19 million tons. What we released this week shows that there could be potential for this number to be understated. These additional ore bodies that you see in gray or in black are all potential ore bodies that are not included in the resource that we have today and are not included in the project as we have it today. So it's a potential upside, which will be very interesting to delve into as we go and progress in the project and as we do the right thing and deserve to develop those also. The other recollection of information is in this slide to reinforce that from a technical perspective, this is a quite conventional project. It is we're working on with a very clean concentrate product. We have the luck of having low iron and mica contents in the resource itself, and the advantage of working in a region which is not the middle of Australia, 2,000 kilometers away from a port, or not in other regions of the world where you have a bit of more political uncertainty and infrastructures that are not as good. We have the support of good infrastructure, and we also have the advantage of having interesting downstream industries such as ceramics, glass, and insulation, which will benefit from our feldspar quartz and mica mixes that come out of the plant itself as byproducts. And all of this means that we expect to be operating close to the middle of the global cost curve in a very good and competitive position, and that we would, given the scoping study numbers, be operating at a break-even price, and this break-even price includes capital costs, so it is a break-even of NPV of at $600 per ton. So we would, in current price conditions, be working comfortably, and that's important. We obviously will prefer when the prices recover to what is a global incentive price for development of the industry, but we would be working at these prices. The other important thing to recall is where we are in terms of macro trends. And these macro trends are only being reinforced as we speak. I told you 4 months ago, to those who were in the video conference, that we were expecting to finish the year with a strong growth in EV penetration, despite all of the noise around this EV growth over the year of 24. It was a year in which probably no media outlets had less than a couple of pieces saying that EV penetration was not growing as fast as they expected. Well, with all of those bad news, we still got to 25% growth globally, which is quite impressive. The same goes, or even more interesting, goes to BSS, the big battery storage systems. They were just almost look like research kind of projects only 12 months ago. They are now starting to be delivered at the hundreds of megawatts sizes in a variety of locations globally, and we expect this to be also a significant additional push to the demand of lithium. At the same price, in the current price conditions, at the same time with the current price conditions, what we are saying is that the projects that do not have as competitive a position as hopefully ours are either being delayed or not progressing as fast, or are slightly reducing production from what they expected to have. Some companies are even posting negative results now for the year end, which is not a surprise given where prices were in 24. What we see is that these may help further define supply-demand gap in 27 and beyond, which we would be helping to sort out and benefiting from. And so it is important to be in that position. The additional point is that regardless of where we are exactly over the coming 2 or 3 years, in terms of global markets, the macro trends remains very strong. The IEA is now forecasting a 9x increase in lithium demand until 2040. We see these better and more affordable EVs as a trend that will not stop. This exploding BSS demand as something that will change a bit of the demand supply projections for the coming years. So medium to long term, the outlook looks quite interesting for us, and we're in a good position to navigate through the tough times that the industry is still going through. As a recollection also, this is what we're doing in 25, 26, and 27. So this year is the year in which we complete the FS and start to put all pieces together that are required to start to prepare for building. That will include preparing the project finance. So the more we are able to progress on project financing over this year, the more we will be able to shorten the time between DFS and start of construction. And in any scenario, with the current timeline, we expect to be building in 26 and to be producing in 27, as refers before. So it's exciting times ahead, lots of work, but also lots of interesting things to deliver, and we will keep you posted as we deliver them. Looking at only these last 4 months, and I think that the fact that this was only over the last 4 months speaks for the speed at which we are now progressing, and this is, I think, exciting and good for all those who are the stakeholders in the various stakeholders in this project. We got confirmation of eligibility for a $270 million loan guarantee from the German state government and its support institutions, Allianz Trade and the KfW. So this was a good endorsement of the quality of the project and of its importance for the battery value chain and for the automotive market in Europe as a whole. We already covered the fact that we ended 24 with a good recovery on the share price and a good percentage of Portuguese shareholding in the company. The second mining lease is now clarified, so we will over this year be in position to get hold of the Aldeia blocks. We have expanded the team, and this is significant because most of that expansion, almost all of that expansion has been done in Boticas, and we are now more concentrated in the region. So we are reducing a bit of the complexities of having part of the team here and there in the globe and concentrating more of our efforts and more of our capabilities in Trás-os-Montes in northern Portugal. And so I think in the last 12 months, I think we tripled the team locally. It still is in the dozens, so it's not where we will be in 2 or 3 years' time, but it already is an important sign of involvement of the local community, the local families of so many people that are or villagers, and at the same time part of the SAVANNAH team. Some people that are moving and transferring their lives from the coastal regions of Portugal into Trás-os-Montes, and this is important for a region that is impoverished today and that needs a new generation of youth to come in. So it was good progress in that front also. The other point that I'd like to highlight is that we got this temporary land easement that was awarded. This means that we are now working as we speak in area that is still not ours, obviously in conditions that are predetermined in the law and paying value associated to it to the appropriate owners today. But this is further reinforcement that we are progressing in the right direction. We are now working in all aspects of the access plan that we've had designed for for a while now. And this includes purchases, which we're continuing to do. We're continuing to buy land plots locally. A few rental negotiations that are interesting, that are ongoing. And these easements and the compulsory purchase process that we have started. We started talking about it locally for now 6 months, and now we have started the initial steps of it. For those who don't fully understand this process, it is important to highlight that this is a process that is well defined in Portuguese law. Actually, in most countries have, if not all countries have, a sort of compulsory purchase process, and this is frequently used by infrastructure projects. Only in the region, only a few kilometers away, a few years ago, Iberdrola has done a set of dams, and these dams were subject to compulsory purchase programs. A highway locally was built on the basis of compulsory purchases, and it is normal that this happens also because property in the region is not always easy to define. There are border definition issues, there are inheritance issues with some plots. Some of the plots that we need to acquire are as small as 8 square meters of forest area. So you imagine that all of these require an expropriation procedure to be sorted out. So the good thing is that we have started this, and it is not part of our critical path, so we can progress at appropriate speed, so as to have control of the land when it is required. And the other good thing is that I will show you a bit of the refurbishing and additional infrastructure that we've been doing. This is also an important step in the direction of showing that we are part of the local community and that we're doing the right thing for this region that will benefit so much from this project. Only in 4 months, so I hope we will have very good news to share again in 4 months' time. A bit more of detail of this on these additional ore bodies for which we've announced results this year. So it is important to highlight that this was rock chip results. So very basic exploration work with no intervention or no significant intervention in the field, but it allowed the geology team to further confirm that there are additional ore bodies in the concession area. And some of the results are in very good numbers for any industry standard. We go up to 2 and even to 3% of lithium content in some samples. So exciting to see these confirmed. The geology team was already quite confident that this would be the case, but anyway, at a low cost, we are confirming that there is additional potential, and this is important also because what this means is that these projects can have a significantly longer lifetime after this first phase, if we're doing everything right, which is good for everyone that will benefit and live out of the jobs that we will create. They will continue to have jobs for decades to come, which is also good for everyone, I would say. On this local infrastructure, I'm just showing you this to tell you that companies that have similar projects to ours face a kind of small dilemma when we are at this stage. We have already invested years and years of work, in our case, 8 years in the area. We have invested already tens of millions of euros into doing what we are doing to prepare this project. And the region does not see it yet, does not see those investments yet, apart from a few restaurants and a few hotel nights, which are not irrelevant for the context of the region. But it sometimes looks like it's not as much as they'd like to see. So what we have done in these last 4 months and are continuing to do over the coming 6 is we have started to rehabilitate and revamp some of the areas in which we either work or live. And this is important because it involves local teams, it involves local suppliers, it involves local people working together with us and seeing their heritage, seeing their areas, seeing the places that are neighbor to their own houses being rehabilitated and starting to welcome more new people to the community. So that's not very significant investments for now, we are starting to be able to show a face which we can be proud of locally and to be seen locally as part of the positive development of the region. Still at a modest scale, but with concrete results to show, which is very important. I would like to just share with you a few pictures that have been taken in the last 48 hours. Obviously work is continuing at a good speed. So some of these pictures show what the geo team is doing on the ground. So we are drilling right now with 4 rigs. The samples are coming out, and as you see significant extensions of spodumene-rich samples, which is exactly what we were expecting. We were already cutting the samples, shipping them to the international laboratories that validate the quality of the results. And we have tons of people in the fields doing their job with the right quality, with the right safety safeguards, and progressing well. So this is good and important progress. And at the same time, we have our team is just part of every day, the days of the usual life in the community. So you see here our team members being taking part in the local fairs, being invited by local representatives to be part of the organization of other small local events. You see myself with Marta inaugurating one of the houses that we have rehabilitated in Covers after having stayed there for a few nights. You see Rui as a representative of the new staff that has just come in. Only this month we've welcomed 7 new staff to the local team. So it is good progress that we're seeing in a variety of fronts. And this is just because a question came in and it comes to this point, further endorsement of the quality of work that we're doing locally, and the humble but positive way at the same time in which we are getting involved in all aspects of local life. As a result, yes, the question was whether people locally were buying shares. I personally know that a few have bought, which is good. Every time that happens, even if it's only for a couple of thousands of euros, it is a very good endorsement of the project and of our work. So I'm always very happy to hear when that happens. And this includes people we engage with daily. It includes people we just know and see here and there. The truth is that today, I would say that we already know most, if not all, people in the villages around the concession area. And around here means between 1 kilometer and 15 kilometers away. So it is, as most of you know, not a very densely populated area. And we obviously are a bit part of their lives already, and they are already a bit part of our lives also, and of the life of the project, including through modest shareholding, which is great. Just a few highlights before I pass this on to Rick. So at this stage, we know that we are progressing at good speed in a project that is critical in many aspects for the region, for the country, for Europe, for the battery value chain, and for the energy transition as a whole. So we are excited to be part of this. We know that this is an achievable project, which is good. It's conventional mining. It's very competitive. It has a modest capex. The mineralogy, is easy to process through very well-known and established process. We have the best engineering that the sector has globally working together with us. It is an expandable project. As we have seen, we continue to see good reasons to further confirm that there are multiple additional targets for resource growth. It is a valuable project. The value was recognized by AMG. It was recognized, or is being recognized, by Portuguese investors, and it is continuing to be recognized as we progress in de-risking it, and we continue to see significant value to be untapped, as Rick will explain a bit more. And it's investable. It's a great project. The management team is very good. We now have included as part of the newcomers into the project, people who are coming from Fortescue, from mineral resources. They were involved in projects that are operating and running today in the global lithium scene, and that are some of the best projects in the sector. So we are confident that we have the skills that are required to do these projects very well. Passing it on to Rick. Rick, I'd love to invite you to share a bit of your history in the sector, and I'd like also to ask you to please share with those who are listening to us why you believe in SAVANNAH's projects. If I can just intro Rick to all those that are following this. Rick is now the chairman of SAVANNAH since summer last year. He comes from almost 2 decades of lithium industry. He started with Orocobre when it was listed, so we will tell you a bit more about the story of being part of the team that got from Orocobre to the Rio Tinto arm for lithium today. Rick, your stage, please.
Yeah, thanks, Emmanuel. I mean, I was involved with Orocobre from when it was a $6 million IPO in 2007, right through to the end of the merger with Arcadium at about 18 months ago, when that was done at a 10 billion plus US 10 billion plus valuation, and as we're all aware, Arcadium's now been taken over. Well, is in the process of being taken over by Rio, and that transaction will complete. So that's been a great journey, and it was also some key lessons that came out of Orocobre and Orchem in terms of partners, in terms of development, and in terms of focus, and in terms of frankly. Working hard to ride the cycles in what is still. I don't think anyone has a complete crystal ball about where the lithium industry is going to add up, but you need to be nimble. You need to have good partners. You need to be financed. And what got me excited or interested in joining SAVANNAH is really captured on that slide. This is a project which ticks all those boxes. It's a development phase project, and there's not a lot. And I wouldn't say it was unique, but currently, from a timing perspective, it is very well timed, because if we can hit our targets, there's no reason why we can't. If we can hit our targets and we're bringing production into the market in 2027, there is very, very little production that is likely to be coming on between now and 2027. We perhaps have Liontown ramping up, but there's no other major spodumene coming out of Australia. There might be some Brazilian supply, and then there's a question mark about brines and DLEs. So and the other key part about this project is that it makes money now. It makes money at a spot price in the 850s, and it makes quite a decent return. So it is a valuable and investable project. And if we do see, as there is a little bit of a consensus about tightening supply around that 27 mark, spodumene lifting $1,200 to $1,500, this is a very valuable project. And I think, as Emmanuel said, when we talk about expandable, the work that's being done down there at the moment in terms of the resource, we know that there's a lot of targets down there, and we have a high level of confidence that we're going to be able to grow that resource. That flows into a higher mine life. It potentially flows into an optimized mine life in terms of grade and pit expansions, and it also provides for the ability to expand that project. And as I said, it's pretty simple technology that's being used. It's tried and tested over the last 10 years, and so we should be able to expand the project in line with what we expect to be an expanded resource. Value creation in the lithium sector, I'll just touch on that briefly. this is what happened in the period between 20 and 22, and Savannah missed out on all of that uptick for various reasons: lack of approvals, unexpected problems on site, financing problems. So it's that blue line ticking along the bottom, whereas you could see the some of the other well-known players have simply tracking or exceeding the Chinese spodumene concentrate price. So I think it's an interesting slide, but what it does tell you is that we believe that we've got Savannah into a position now where given that there is a market recovery, and we don't expect a rapid bounce. It's more a little bit more like climbing slowly out of a fairly deep hole at the moment. But there is movement. But we would expect our valuation and our share price to be reflecting the improved market conditions. And also, obviously, we're working towards having a DFS out by the end of the year, which will be something that we can point to in terms of where the value lies in this project. Emmanuel, I might just hand back to you on this slide.
Sure. Thank you, Rick. We'll for sure share some of the responses to the questions that will come afterwards. Everyone knows that you're free to ask all the questions you may have, and we'll come to them in just a few minutes. So you have seen this slide. Those who follow the story, you've seen the slide previously. You haven't seen it with the updated numbers. So now that we have recovered some of the valuation in 24, it is important to readjust these numbers to the current valuations. And what we see, we are the green column, more or less to the middle and left of the chart, is that versus our global peers, the few global peers that are in position to deliver projects over the coming 3 to 7 years, we are still significantly undervalued. So we still see significant potential to just re-rate versus some of the post-PEA, scoping study, and PFS peers. And as we progress from scoping study to production, what is expected is that we deliver the value associated to that de-risk and to that execution, and we get to valuations that are consistent with on a pro rata basis, of course, on a pro rata basis to the size and to the quality of the resource of the big names in the sector that you know, the Albemarle's, the Mineral Resources, the Pilbara, and the SQMs. The other thing that we know is that as we go, we will grow the value potential of the project. We know that the area is a good one, as already referred, and that should trigger these additional value drivers that we have referred, both internal triggers associated to developing and building further value from us to our market, and in terms of a recovery in lithium prices and spodumene price conditions. So we firmly believe that doing our job right over the coming years will step by step generate further significant value for our shareholders, and we're obviously focused in making sure that happens. As in parallel, the good thing is that when you have a good project and you deliver it with consciousness of how good you can do to so many fronts, you can deliver a project that is good for all the stakeholders. So we want this project to be good for our team. We want this project to be good for the local community and for the region. And we want this project to be good for all of our stakeholders, be them suppliers, clients, partners, value chain companions, both in Portugal and in Europe, and our shareholders, of course. So excited to be part of this project. Also excited to have had so many developments in only these last 4 months and to be progressing well in a variety of fronts. This is a project that will continue to be questioned and continue to be scrutinized by many. That is normal, and we know that just adds to our responsibility of doing things correctly. But I think that what we are doing and what is being seen is confirming that, and we will continue to act that way so as to deliver value and opportunity for all stakeholders as referred. Very well. Can we perhaps get to the questions, maybe?
Emmanuel, Rick, thank you very much for your presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, please do continue to submit your questions just by using the Q&A tab situated on the top right-hand corner of your screen. Just while the company take a few moments to review those questions submitted today, I'd like to remind you that a recording of this presentation, along with a copy of the slides and the published Q&A, can be accessed via your investor dashboard. As you can see, we received a number of questions throughout today's presentation, and can I please ask you to read out the questions and give responses where appropriate to do so, and I'll pick up from you at the end.
Thank you very much. The questions are coming in. Let me just try to cover them. So we've covered the one associated to people from the local community buying shares. So that one is covered. We also have another one which is more of a clarification, I would say, asking for more detail on what we are making money on now. I think we would be making money at current price levels, correct? This is related to one of your comments, Rick.
Yeah, I think I'd understand that to be a question about, I guess, comparing what our last published round of all-in sustaining cost was against current spot. The answer is there is a margin there. We are profitable even at in the 850, and that gives us a and obviously those numbers that came out back in the previous were from a PFS, and that's the point. Obviously, the point of doing the DFS is to firm those numbers. But indicatively, the project is in the right part of the cost curve for a spodumene project. It will not be a marginal producer. It won't be a swing producer like some of the more expensive operations are in Western Australia. It has strong project economics. And then maybe I could take the next question from, I think there's a question from Rob about takeovers. I mean, it's a legitimate question when we have what we believe to be an undervalued asset. A couple of points to note is that whilst there has been plenty of activity on the M&A side in lithium, it has generally been at the higher end, such as the Rio or some of the mergers that the Chinese have done, particularly with Argentinian assets. There's also never been a hostile takeover of any company in the lithium sector, or even one. There may have been some attempted, but there's never been any that's come out publicly. So that's not to say that we don't take it seriously. We as a board, our job is to make sure that we deliver on the targets that we've got. That is the best defence, is to have a clear strategy, to make sure we're appropriately funded, and to work closely with our shareholders, both big and small, so that they're comfortable that we are best positioned to deliver the value that we have in this project, rather than trying to hand it off to somebody else to try and do that.
Correct. This was Rick answering to a question on whether we would be worried about a takeover at the current prices. I would add to your point, Rick, that if anything, today we are more prepared for such a scenario than we were only 12 months ago, just by the simple fact that we have slightly re-rated, and also by the fact that we have a shareholder structure that is now more long-term oriented, and includes a strategic partner and long-term oriented players such as AMG, and includes Portuguese backers that are supporting the project to be developed fully. So that's our focus.
Yeah, they're there to see the value unlocked. They're not there as a financial trade.
Exactly. Another question came in on the German government loan guarantee, and the question is whether other government funding sources are potentially available. The answer to that is that we expect that some of them will be at some point eventually. I actually have a meeting even today with an entity, one of these national entities, of a European country, we are continuing to progress in talks with other government institutions and with other state-owned backers, financial bankers, and we've talked about the European investment banks, with France and the likes. So this would be expectable also because it is what we are seeing globally. The Chinese players have done that extensively to develop their value chain. The American government is supporting extensively projects in the industry, and what we are seeing is that both the German states, the French states, the Italian states, the Spanish states, and also the Portuguese states are developing their own mechanisms to support the development of an industry that is important for the decades, if not century to come. So everyone is conscious of that, and we certainly are also conscious that we need to do the right thing so as to deserve those additional supports. We're very happy that we had the first public endorsement by the German state. We will continue to work on others. Another question on when we would expect to announce more partnerships like the one we have with AMG. I would say that the first answer to this is we have space for other partnerships, and that's the good news, right? So we are 100% owners of the project, and we have most of the offtake still available, and we know that our project can help accelerate the development of other projects further downstream in the region. So the when is when it will best suit our project and our shareholders. So be patient, because we know that we will deliver on that when the right time and the right deals are on the table. The other question is on asking a bit more about the two significant Portuguese shareholders who have joined the register this year. I would say the first thing is that, and one thing that makes me happy, as I referred, is that they are part of hundreds of Portuguese investors that we already have in the register. So I am as excited to have these more solid high net worth backers as so many small retail investors who are seeing potential value in the project and believe in what we are doing. But with the two main Portuguese shareholders that have come in, what we're seeing is confidence in the ability to develop a project that is important for Portugal, confidence that the team is able to deliver it, and confidence that we can build something good for the country overall. So I see a set of elements that allow me to reinforce what Rick just referred, which is that they are long-term oriented. They're oriented towards benefiting from the development of the project and to support us locally in making sure that happens. Another question on whether we're marketing the company to institutional investors and if there are institutional investors in Portugal which could invest. I can tell you that there is already at least one additional institutional investor that has started to buy shares in the company. We know because they have told us so. They're still not at the thresholds that would make them need to be public, but it is one of these very well established institutional shareholders in the country. So yes, there are a few of them, and certainly they are looking at the story as we progress, and in due time I expect and hope that they will see the right opportunity to come in. Only this week, Rick and I, together with Asa, supporting us, were in London doing part of this work of talking to a few institutional shareholders, specialists in energy transition, specialists in critical and battery materials, who are attentive and looking at our progress, and obviously looking at understanding if and when it will be a good time to join. We're patient, and as Rick referred, we are focused on delivering the project. The more we deliver it, the more we progress, the more it will make sense for the company to be valuable and for all of these investors to come in. A curious question: does the company use electric vehicles? The answer is yes. I am the shameful, I would say probably the only shameful member of the team that still has a plug-in hybrid. All of the other elements of the team that have a car company for work or for their own use are using electric vehicles, and this includes people who do 500 kilometers a week and more. So yes, we walk the talk and we deliver on what we are doing. Obviously, the equipments in the fields, some of them are still are not electric yet, but as we go and as we progress and as the industry progresses and has good options for that also, we are attentive and we are working on using them as we see fit. I think we may have told you that we are working specifically with one of the global leaders in electrical equipment for mining operations right now. So we're part of their potential early adopter pool, and they're very interested in having us together. So we are attentive to these opportunities. Another question: do we have a resource target for the DFS? It will be part of what we will be talking about over the year. So when we are closer to delivering the DFS at each step of development, we will keep you posted. So we will tell you about all of this. But I can tell you that the drilling work that we're doing right now is mostly focused on two things. First, upgrading those 28 million tons to the measured and inferred categories. That's one that is obviously important. And the second one, already geotechnical work, meaning work that allows us to make sure that the DFS will include engineering, detailed engineering that is implementable with no surprises when it will be built. Another question from someone who has followed the last presentation. Thank you for that. I think that I smiled broadly when I was asked whether the project was strategic and whether the European Commission also regarded it as strategic. Is this still the case, and are you expecting news? I think I referred in the last meeting, we are one of the companies that has submitted an application to be classified as a strategic project. There are many such companies through Europe. Calibre, for example, is, I think, one of them. Some refining projects, the same. Some battery projects, battery assembly projects, the same. And this process is ongoing. We expect to have news by mid to late March. That's what the European Commission announced. So yes, I still expect the project to be seen as strategic. I certainly see it as such, and I certainly have signs of all of those stakeholders involved that they understand that it is. Another question came in from Stefan. Sorry, if any shareholder wanted to come and see the project in action, would SAVANNAH welcome them and show them around where possible? The answer is certainly yes, just subject to logistical conditions and ability to deliver a good site visit. So feel free to ask for that specifically to our contacts directly through Waze or through the regular company contact. I think I even have a slide here that has this email, info@savannahresources.com, or just responding to the invite for this, or to the contacts that are in our website and in our RNSs. We will try to put together a few invitees when they come to site, just because it is already a lot of people who want to come and visit. So just logistics, but you'd be most welcome to come, and I think you would like to come. Portugal is an amazing country, and the region is a very interesting one, so I think we can be good hosts in a good region. And from Anna, if the project is seen as strategic, what are the main benefits for SAVANNAH? Well, it's for SAVANNAH, for the project, and for the value chain, and the fact that we are doing the right thing, and that we are becoming, as we go, more credible and more important in the development of the whole European value chain, the more it is good for us and for those who are part of these projects. Strategic projects classifications usually tend to help the project be better understood at the European level. They also usually help the projects to be granted funds more easily. So it is a kind of first confirmation or additional confirmation of the quality of the project, which makes it more bankable, more supportable, and more attractive for everyone. That's what I would say.
Emmanuel, Rick, thank you for answering all those questions you have from investors. And of course, the company can review all questions submitted today and will publish those responses on the Investor Meet Company platform. Just before redirecting investors to provide with their feedback, which I know is particularly important to the company, Emmanuel, could I please just ask you for a few closing comments?
I'm just very happy to keep this routine of talking to you more or less every 4 months. I was also happy to do this with Rick this time. It's great to have people like Rick who are so experienced in the lithium sector as part of this SAVANNAH journey. We're excited to be working well towards the benefit of all who are directly or indirectly parts of the project, and we're committed to continuing our work in the right direction. Thank you all.
Emmanuel, Rick, thank you for updating investors today. Can I please ask investors not to close this session, as you'll now be automatically redirected to provide your feedback in order that the management team can better understand your views and expectations. This will only take a few moments to complete, and I'm sure will be greatly valued by the company. On behalf of the management team of SAVANNAH Resources PLC, we'd like to thank you for attending today's presentation, and good afternoon to you all.